Everybody's still alive. I'll watch. Hi, everybody.
You can sit down if you want. You don't need to stand.
So how are you feeling?
Very well.
Can you take us back to Monday and what happened and when you knew you'd been hit by a shark?
Well, Monday afternoon, about 3:30, my son JJ and I were swimming off of the coast of Cape Cod with Truro on Ballston Beach, and we decided to try to swim out to a sandbar that was 400 or 500 yards from shore, and we wanted to get to a place where the waves were breaking and we could body surf. So we were working our way out to the sandbar, and JJ said to me, "What do you think would happen if a shark came along?" And I said, "Well, we'd be history." And we swam a little bit farther out, and we were having trouble getting to the sandbar, so we decided to turn around and swim back. Just after we decided to do that, I felt a huge bite on my leg, and I was quite sure it was a shark. That was my first thought. I felt like my leg was caught in a vice, and I kicked very hard with my free leg, with my right leg, and I was able to, or the shark decided I wasn't tasty, or something good happened, and he let me go. And I guess JJ heard me scream, and about then the shark surfaced right between the two of us. So we were probably 5 or 6 feet apart, and the shark came up right between us, and we could see his whole back, his dorsal fin. He looked kind of dark brown to me. He looked kind of dark blue or dark black to my son. And so my first thought was, well, he's probably not a great white, but from all that we've heard, we've been talking to some of the shark experts, and the best guess seems to be that it was a great white shark, and that they're white on the bottom, but not on the top. So I think Greg, from the Department of Fisheries, is going to probably have some kind of official statement later today, but they came and took photos here at the hospital, and they're trying to figure that out.
Did they come and examine your bites and everything and interview you?
Yes.
How deep were your bites?
I had 4 deep puncture wounds on each of my 2 legs, so a total of 8 wounds that required stitches. And I had 47 stitches. I had a couple of severed tendons in my left ankle. And so I'm feeling very pleased to be here and walking.
Obviously, you're from Denver, you're vacationing out here, you're kind of boarding. Why did you swim so far out? A lot of people are asking, geez, why did this guy take the chance?
Well, I hope that, I actually, maybe I was the last person not to have heard that there were sharks off of Cape Cod, but I hadn't heard that. And if I had, I would have, I think, been much more careful, but I probably should have been more careful anyway. But after this happened, I was reading online that there had been sharks spotted only 20 miles from there, and I understand now that there's postings up at the beach. So that's a good thing, I think.
Are you planning to kind of sell your story, or have you already?
No, I haven't. I'm open to offers. I have a learning company in Denver that's working to teach advanced computer skills to kids in elementary school. They're learning how to do digital design and computer animation, computer programming, and I could use some seed money for that business. So if anyone wants to buy my story, that's great. But I thought it was important to get the word out, and I appreciated all the interest from the local press, so I thought I'd start there.
Hey, Chris.
What's next? And if you go back to the Cape now, you go back to Denver, or you go back to Water?
I'd love to tell you the story of how we got back to the beach. That was the most dramatic part of the story. Is that okay?
Well, let's hear it.
Okay. So, do you want to tell that part here? Yeah. I think we last told them about seeing the shark.
Yeah, we basically, I had heard this dream, and at that point I turned and I saw this shark surface in between the 2 of us, and I think seeing a shark is enough to just get you swimming as fast as you can back to the beach. I know for me what was really surprising is that you hear all these stories about kind of adrenaline kicking in and you swimming so fast back to the beach, you know, faster than you can imagine. And I think I can speak for myself, and I think it was the same way for both of us. That I didn't feel the adrenaline as much as the shock, and I felt that however fast I swam, it was really up to the shark if he wanted to get me or not, because, you know, swim fast or not, the shark's going to be faster. Anyways, we took off, and I stopped for a second and turned to my dad and said, "Are you alright?" And he said, "Well, it's bit me pretty badly." So I kind of kept my head out of water and looked at him and made sure he could swim, which somehow he was able to remarkably fast. So we took off back to shore, and once we got there, I remember he was sitting on the ground and he said, "Well, we're not history." And I remember thinking how incredible that was, that through all of this and through all the pain he must be feeling, he was able to keep such a calm and collected attitude, still be having his witty humor, and I thought that was special.
Can you see his teeth, like, you know, we sort of see jaws, right, now, and you see the underside of that thing. Did you get like a look like that at it?
No, mercifully, we never saw his teeth. Someone asked us on Good Morning America about, you know, well, when did you do that? And there was really one option, which was swim towards shore. And so we set out towards shore. And about halfway there, I started feeling kind of dizzy and lightheaded, and I wondered if I was losing blood and wondered if I was going to be able to make it to shore. That went through my head for a minute, and I just kept swimming. And I looked up at one point to see if people on the shore seemed to realize what was happening. I could see people gathered and pointing at us, but nobody came into the water until the very last minute.
Was it?
No, I think they made the right decision. But as soon as we got to as soon as I felt the sand under my feet, tried to stand, then people came and they took my shoulders and guided me up to the beach. I was having trouble walking. The swimming went well.
Did you think that was it? Again, about what was going through your mind? Did the two of you think, you know, this is it, I'm going to die, or what thoughts did you have about that?
Well, I think that a lot of nurses and people in the hospital have asked me, like, well, wouldn't you have just been so terrified? I mean, I think I would have fainted. I would have died from fright. And I think the thing that surprised Gidja and I both is that perhaps it's just the adrenaline that kicks in, but we didn't feel scared, and I wasn't feeling any pain. And I didn't start feeling pain until probably an hour and a half later in the ambulance.
When you saw that shark coming up right next to you in the water, I mean, how big was it, and did it make another move for you? I mean, you said you were just feet away from it.
No, it was almost like it just wanted to show us, you know, who it was, and then go on to find that seal that it thought would be more tasty. But it just surfaced, it almost arced. We saw probably 6 or 8 feet of its back and its full dorsal fin. But we didn't see the mouth, we didn't see the tail.
And were there any seals around there?
Well, we were told afterwards that there had been a seal. Something else I wished I had noticed. Yeah.
So you were bitten.
You seem very kind of almost chill about it now. I mean, that's sort of the impression you're giving. Were you like that then, or were you totally freaking out? I mean, what was...
I'll let Jamie speak to that. I don't think I ever was freaking out particularly strangely.
He was incredibly calm about it all. I think he was more relaxed than I was with all of it. It was really remarkable.
Will you ever go swimming in the ocean again, and will you ever go back to this beach?
Yes, it's my favorite beach in the world, and I'm sure I'll be back. I'm sure I'll be back swimming. I think I'll stick a little closer to the shore.
What's
You've
your
been there before, I take it then.
Yes.
What's your connection to Truro, to that beach? When did you first start
I
going
grew up
there?
in Boston, and I spent time on the Cape as a child. I live in Denver now, but I get back here every summer. Pleased to see my mom right there.
What part of Boston did you grow up in?
On Joy Street, about a block from the State House.
Beacon Hill.
Yes.
And how old are you, and how old is your son?
I'm 50 years old, and my son is 16.
What did you say you do for a living, by the way?
I'm an educator. I have a small learning company called Myers Learning that teaches computer programming and digital design to elementary school kids.
So technically, a biologist haven't come out and said that makes it was a great one. What would you say to that?
I personally think it was a great way. There hasn't yet been official confirmation of that. I think by the end of the day, the man who came to see us yesterday is probably going to make a statement.
Did they tell you that they think it's a great way?
Well, they think I'll be able to get my cast off on Monday, and I'll probably need some physical therapy. But they expect me to make a full recovery. I'm not quite sure how long it will take. I would think probably 3 or 4 weeks before I'm walking easily.
Do you think other people are going to be attacked by sharks out there, or do you think this was more of just we were in the wrong place at the wrong time, or do you think this is something that we might see again with more frequency?
Well, I would certainly, if I were going to do it again, I would be swimming very close to shore. I'd be looking around for seals. If there were any seals in the area, I would stay clear of the water.
Do you think this is something that we in Massachusetts are going to see again?
Well, I think there's reason to think so, since there were sharks seen in Orleans and Chatham in the last month. I think people should be very careful, more careful than I would be.
Do you think the rescue time was adequate? I mean, by the time you got out of the water and the ambulance was there, how long did it take, and do you think that was quick enough?
I was very impressed by how quickly initially paramedics got to the beach, and within another 10 minutes an ambulance. I think it took them no more than 20 minutes to have an ambulance on the beach and carry me out.
Do you think they should have closed that beach?
I think that it would have been a good idea to have warning signs on the beach based on the fact that sharks have been seen at Nauset. I can say for sure if I'd seen shark warning signs that I would not have been swimming that far from shore. Now that said, hindsight is very clear.
What advice would you give to other swimmers in here on the Cape in Massachusetts? We've had all these shark sightings this summer.
Stay close to shore. Don't go out in the water if there are seals.
Do you think they should start calling the seal population out there to reduce the number of sharks in the water?
No, that's a hard question. I don't know. I like seals.
I guess
This is all very unusual. Not many people get bit by sharks. And I wonder, as you look back on it now, and you think about your precarious carnivorous adventure, what do you think?
I don't know. It just one of my friends wrote to me, and it's almost like people don't know quite what to say, but the people who describe this event as ridiculous, I kind of appreciate, like to see the humor in it. Obviously, you know, we all want people to be careful and to take the best precautions that they can, but there's risk everywhere in life, and I guess every once in a while you take a risk you shouldn't have, and you get very lucky. So I just feel very grateful to have my son with me here and my other son right there, and you know, I don't know how many more profound thoughts than that.
Grateful. Grateful to be alive.
Grateful is a good summary. Yeah.
You said you like seals. How do you feel about sharks?
Not as good, but I guess, you know, I'll be biting into a nice steak tonight and probably not thinking too hard about it, so I can't get too mad at the seal, at the shark either.
Chris, what about along those same lines, I guess, how do you feel about the notoriety of everything? Because apparently you're the first person to be attacked by a shark in Massachusetts since 1936, so this doesn't happen very often.
Well, I spend a lot of time in Denver trying to figure out how to explain the work I do teaching computer programming to children and how to get the press interested in that. And it's been kind of an irony not lost on me that if you get bit by a shark, it's really easy to get people interested in your story. And it's a really easy story to explain. But I'm hoping someday I'll have a chance to explain the work that I do, and that maybe this will lead to good things in that.
Can you describe how it felt when the shark bit you?
It felt like I'd been bitten by. There were some accounts in the newspaper wondering, you know, was this a shark or not? And I figured that the options were a shark, a polar bear, or an elephant. And So, by process of elimination, I got down to the shark pretty quickly.
Well, what did it feel like when it was happening? How would you describe it?
It just felt like something very heavy had a very hard grip on my leg. I didn't feel pain from the lacerations.
Did it try to pull you or tug you or do anything along the line? I don't know what a shark attack is like. Can you tell me what it tried to do with you other than just clamp on?
I'm not quite sure whether it pulled me under the water. Some people have said they saw my head go under. I don't remember that. It could have happened briefly. It's fine. Yeah, I've been taking some painkillers, but I haven't had anything except Tylenol for 24 hours, and I'm feeling fine now.
Did you feel a lot of pressure from the bike? Did it just...
I just felt it grip my leg very hard. I kicked at it. I've got a lot of lacerations on my right foot where I imagine maybe I kicked its teeth, and then it let me go.
So you kicked the snout of the front part with your other foot?
Yeah, I imagine it must have been the snout I was kicking. Yeah, I couldn't see it in the water.
Can you say what the process was that got you here to MGH versus being treated on Cape Cod?
Yeah, I was taken by ambulance to Cape Cod Hospital, and I received really wonderful care there. But when they realized I had foot drop and the tendons were severed, I think their sense was that it would be good if I were seen by an orthopedic team, and so they called Mass General, and they had someone here that was able to see me.
Do you expect to make a full recovery, be able to walk normally like you did before and everything?
Yes.
Are you leaving to go right back home right here or something?
I'm gonna be spending a few days at an undisclosed location, just recovering, and then I hope to go back to Denver next week.
Be back here swimming next summer on vacation?
Yes.
Same beach?
Yes.
There's a rumor going around that you're paying at least $50,000 a month to have this piece. You said that never been paid for this.
No, I can assure you I've not been paid for any stories I've told so far.
Good deal.
I'm open. Yeah. I'm single too.
So you're open to anyone who wants to pay for your story? You're happy to tell them? So for your seed money for your company, you say?
Yes.
Okay.